Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to get to do some math problems. So let's get into it. We're going to be working on 2.5. And the numbers are 14 through 17. So here we go. So what we're really dealing with is rewriting each expression into an equivalent form with only one positive exponent. And so when we're doing stuff like this, we're really looking at the pattern of negatives. And if you haven't seen the couple of videos that I have where I explain what negative exponents mean, here's a short recap. Number one, positive exponents like 3 squared, let's just look at 3 squared, means 3 times 3. And you're like, okay, well, that's nothing new. Yes, but here we're multiplying, right? We're multiplying 3 by 3 because there needs to be 2 factors. Now, when that exponent is negative, what it means is now we're just dividing instead of multiplying. So what does that look like? Well, instead of having 3 times 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 3, then I'm going to be dividing by 3 times 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 3, right? So here it's just going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So we're going to be dividing, and then just 1 goes on top because, that's what we're dividing, right? There is actually an invisible 1 in front of that 3. And so that's where that 1 is coming from. The invisible 1 times 3 to the negative 8. So in reality, a faster way to write 3 times 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 3 would be just 1 over 3 to the 8th. And so now we have a positive exponent, and then we're done. So common mistakes here are people think that negative exponents mean negative answers. And as you can see, it's not a negative answer. So hope that makes sense. Here we go. With this one here, the way I would do this problem is I would take 1 to the negative 4th and 7 to the negative 4th. Okay. I guess I should make that 7 a little bit bigger so you can see that that negative 4 is an exponent. And so the 1 to the negative 4th, that makes sense, right? Because I could just put 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 on the bottom, which is still just 1. So that's not a big deal. This invisible 1, I'm going to put in front, right? Hold on, sorry. It's catching up. So, but what about the 7 to the negative 4th that's already being divided? Well, you can think about it the same, right? You're going to divide by the division, like you're going to have a fraction in the denominator if you want to think about it like that. But the way I'm going to rewrite this one is I'm going to go like this, and I'm just going to go 1/7 times 7th times 1/7 times 1/7. And if you remember from maybe 6th and 7th grade, when you divide by a fraction, you're really multiplying by the reciprocal. So I'm going to reciprocal all of these guys. I'm going to flip all of these guys. So then I can multiply that by 7, because the reciprocal of 1/7 is just 7 times 7 times 7 times 7, right? So all of these guys match over, match over here, right? Right. So you're saying put the 7s on the top? Yes. But you said when we're dealing with negative exponents, you're dividing. Yes. But if you're dividing by a fraction, right? When you divide by a fraction, you're really just multiplying by the reciprocal. So what's your final answer? So my final answer is going to be 1's on the bottom, which is, I don't need to write that, and 7's on the top. So my total answer is, my final answer is 7 to the 4th. Okay, 7 to the 4th. Because again, when you're dividing the negative, That negative exponent means dividing. Dividing by a fraction, you're really multiplying by the reciprocal. So my final answer, it's going to show up here, is 7 to the 4th. Okay, so now you understand how this goes. And so now I could just do this straight off. So this is equal to, hold on 1 second, I gotta grab some. Okay, so remember that negative exponent just means I'm gonna divide. So I'm gonna write this as 1 over 5, oops, can't write a 5, 5 to the 2x. 5 to the 2x, and that's it. For this one here, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to deal with these two. And if you remember from our properties of exponents, whenever we have a power to a power, we multiply those together. So this is going to be x to the negative 12th, x to the negative 12th. And then you know what a negative exponent means. It means just to divide. So this is going to be 1 over x to the 12th. 1 over x to the 12th. Okay, so in review, you should have learned that negative exponents just means to divide. So you'll see them show up in the denominator, right? Except for, you have to remember that a negative exponent means to divide. And when we're dividing by a fraction, it really just means we're multiplying by the reciprocal. So that's why it 1/7 to the negative 4th turns to 7 to the 4th. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I know it's not easy, but my favorite phrase is math may not always be easy, but it should always make sense. Thanks for listening.